Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
It's Monday night. The Sports Hounds are live from the Real Talk Studios, Runnymede, New Jersey. New and improved Real Talk Studios. We got the movie posters. We got the banner up. Really coming along here, Brad.
Sure is.
Nice new home. As always, Sports Hounds brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal. 3 convenient locations, no appointment necessary. Visit specializedphysicaltherapy.com for more details on their services. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Periscope. We're on Spotify. We're on SoundCloud. We're on The Takeover is Real. The decade's coming to an end. The new 2020, the next decade, going to be big for A2D Radio. Join The Takeover. The Takeover is Real. You can listen to us absolutely everywhere. We got 11 shows. We got at least 8, by my count, ways to listen to all the great shows and content here on A2D Radio. Get to the poll question in a second. I'm Rob Brakeman. He's Brad Ryer. Frank Vesby producing. Our mascot Titan out there in the yard, keeping us safe. But one thing Titan could not do yesterday was keep the New York Giants safe.
Nobody can keep that team
The Philadelphia Eagles win the NFC East. 9-7 record through thick and thin, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. This team is division champions. They paid the price yesterday. They got some key injuries. They're going to play the Seattle Seahawks, who lost on Sunday Night Football to the San Francisco 49ers. That game's going to be at 4:40 at the Link on Sunday. Brings us to our poll question, Brad. Brought to you by ATS Sports, the best sports handicappers in the business, atsportspicks.com. Use the promo code A2D Radio for 20% off their services. Will the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday? Brad, I'll kick it to you to start things off.
No.
Shocker. Shocker.
No shot.
Absolute shocker. The
They're
Giants fan
not
doesn't think the Eagles are going to win.
Because I just don't think the Eagles are a very good football team.
I don't think they're a very good football team either.
What did they prove by beating the pathetic Giants? Let's be honest. The Giants are a
They
very,
proved
very
that
bad
they
team.
are better than the Cowboys. They proved that they are better than the Giants and the Redskins, and they get to host a home playoff game.
Well, they get to host a home playoff game because they won the division.
Yes.
That's the bottom line. They certainly, as far as records are concerned, they didn't really deserve to make the playoffs. But it doesn't matter if they were 7-9 and the other teams are 6-10, they still would have made the playoffs.
That's correct.
That's how the division
And hosted
goes.
a home playoff game.
Yeah, I mean the NFL unfortunately has a couple of flaws.
This
if you
is
have
not
a better,
one of them.
No, not having a better record than another team. If you are 11-5, you should be hosting a playoff game over a team that's 9-7. I just think that's utterly ridiculous that would happen. But as fate
What's
would
the
have
point
it,
of what's the point of the divisions then?
well, at least you get an automatic playoff bid. The NBA doesn't do that
That's correct. They don't.
because the NBA is a real league. The NFL is kind of a joke
So now
when
the
it comes to that.
So now the NFL's not a real league.
The NFL's
Because
a
the
real
Eagles get
league.
to host a home playoff
but
game.
they're-
What are you kidding me?
It's a joke. That's a joke. Seattle should have.
Okay, but to paint with a broad brush and say the whole league's
That's
a joke because
well,
of one minor
Roger
flaw.
Goodell's little.
Which this
playoff
happens
thing.
like once every 15 years, where something like this happens.
Well, you know what? Yeah, but it should happen 0 times in 15 years. The NBA fixed this 25 years ago, when this stuff used to happen. When you had an inferior team winning a division and then getting home field advantage for a playoff series, that was stopped. This is something that should never happen in a league like the NFL. It shouldn't. I mean, you're playing. What you're doing is you're kind of making a farce of the league. The Seattle Seahawks played a much more difficult schedule than the Eagles. The Eagles basically
Well,
had
the
a
NFC East
cakewalk.
champion, whoever it was going to be, the Cowboys or the Eagles, benefited from both the NFC East being terrible
And the AFC East
and the
wasn't much
AFC
better
East,
either.
the conference, the opposite
Yeah,
conference
that wasn't a
division
very
that
good
they were
conference
matched up
either.
with. That wasn't a good division either.
So I mean, you got the Eagles got to play the Jets.
And still no one got the 10
before-
wins.
No, I know it's pretty bad. It's just that whole division. But you know what? The bottom line is this: whether I agree with it or not, they're in the playoffs, and you know what? Now they got to win the tournament. 9 and 7 teams have won the Super Bowl before, so it's not impossible. But I just don't see that. I just don't see their defense being able to shut Russell Wilson down. I mean, the last time they played him, they couldn't score, and I don't know how anything's going to change from the last time they played him to this time.
Now,
I mean,
this team is also down. You get both teams are down to Drek. You know, the Seahawks and the Eagles
are missing some running backs. But you know what though? Here's the thing: missing some running backs is not as important as all the guys the Eagles are missing. The Eagles
are
are
missing
more.
both starting corners, the whole right side of their all-pro offensive line. Miles Sanders left the game yesterday.
They're not going to.
Dallas
have
got Zach Ertz lacerated a kidney. There's optimism that he's going to play, but I don't see
He's
how you
not
play football
playing.
with a lacerated
Miles,
kidney.
what's his name?
Miles Sanders,
The running back got hurt. I mean, he may
Sprained
not
his
play.
ankle.
I mean, how
lower body injury.
how are they going to be able to if
Greg
these guys
Ward
don't
missed
play?
a portion of the game.
How are these guys going to beat a team like Seattle?
I mean,
Seattle.
you have
is a very
Deontay
good
Burnett and Robert Davis and Greg Ward as your wide receivers right now. That's what they're down to.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, listen, you
Two
can get away
practice
with that.
squad guys.
You can get away with that against the Giants.
Yeah,
You can get away with that against the Redskins.
I agree.
I have no idea how they got away with it against the Cowboys, other than the fact that the Cowboys are just
Well, the Cowboys
so
folded.
badly mismanaged.
The
so-
Cowboys folded like
yeah. I mean,
the
basically
rats they
the
are, the
Eagles'
fraud
defense.
Rats that
The
they
Eagles' defense did a terrific job in the Cowboys, and the Cowboys just didn't score. But I mean, the Eagles scored 17 points that game
are against
against the against the
17-9.
Cowboys. I just think that the Seahawks, unless it's a really bad weather day, I think the Seahawks are going to score a lot of
Looks
points.
like it's going to be okay. Looks like it's going to be around 40 degrees.
I mean,
Partly cloudy. The game's not till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, give or take. So
yeah, I mean,
dip.
Seattle's kind of used to playing in crappy weather, though. They play in the rain a lot.
yeah,
so,
they're
I mean,
great
it's-
on the road.
Yeah,
Did they lose a I don't even think they lost a road game.
No, I think they
Maybe
were
one.
undefeated on the road. They lost a few home games. But again, Seattle. I mean, if you take a look at Seattle, I mean, my goodness, they almost beat San Francisco yesterday. That was some comeback. I mean,
Yeah.
they basically pulled the Tennessee Titans against the Rams in the Super Bowl, and got stopped at the inch line.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's,
at the end of the
you know,
game.
he's allergic to goal line play calling.
Well, yeah, basically he kind of botched it up again. But I mean, they still I mean, they were behind and they came back. I mean, Russell Wilson. I mean, if you're going to compare the 49ers and the Seahawks, the 49ers are a much better team. But I mean, Russell Wilson.
Not at quarterback.
Russell Wilson is the great equalizer. I mean, he's
I mean, yeah,
he's a
it's true, 'cause
sensational-
Russell Wilson is just so much
he's a
better than
sensational
Jimmy
player.
G. And I don't think Jimmy G's bad.
No, he's not bad. But I mean, Russell Wilson. I mean, other than Lamar Jackson and maybe Patrick Mahomes, I mean, the guy is he's a phenomenal quarterback. You know, I mean, he's very hard to defend because he can run. He can move around the pocket. You know, he doesn't run. He doesn't run as much as he used to. He kind of less uses his mobility to extend plays a lot more than he does run the football at this point in his career, which is actually what you want him to do. You don't really want him running and taking shots at this
Even
point.
when he did run, he never always had a knack for avoiding the big hit.
Yeah, for the most part, he did. I mean, he's just phenomenal. I just don't see how the Eagles. I mean, listen, I couldn't see how they were going to beat Dallas either. But Seattle's a different animal. Seattle has been there
Seattle,
before.
Pete Carroll is a good coach. Russell Wilson.
They've been there before. They have a lot of playoff experience. They've won a Super Bowl. I mean, they know how to win. Their coach knows how to win. Their quarterback knows how to win.
I mean, Doug knows how to win too.
Yes, he does.
I mean,
Doug doesn't have the roster at this point.
and
The healthy roster that Pete has. Pete Pete has some running backs missing, but he's got enough. He's got enough in the tank at running back that they can do the job. I mean, they did run the ball fairly well yesterday against the 49ers. I mean, they were okay. I think they rushed for like 80, 90 yards yesterday. It's not terrible.
Yeah, beast mode was fine.
Yeah, and I mean, they were okay. I mean, listen, they weren't as good as they'd normally be, but I mean, they can still run the ball. But I mean, let's be honest, they're not going to win by running the ball against anybody. They're going to win because Russell Wilson is going to extend and make big plays, and their defense is good enough to keep it to keep it close. I mean, that's kind of how they roll, and that's a really good football team. I just don't see the Eagles being the team to beat them. To be honest with you, I mean, I can see.
Is Doug Peterson the coach of the year?
I have to think about that. I thought he did a great job these last 4
I don't
weeks.
think he is, but I mean, I get on Doug a lot, and I've gotten on Doug a lot this year, and he hasn't had a perfect season, but and I don't really understand why this team has to have their backs up against the wall.
I mean, honestly, I think the coach of the year is Harbaugh, but I mean,
Harbaugh.
mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fair.
I mean, look. I mean, I know Lamar Jackson's been great, but you know what? He changed the way that team played.
He changed his football philosophy.
He completely changed the way the Ravens play. I mean, they have two guys that run for 1,000 yards. Their running back and their quarterback. And their quarterback is not a bad passer either.
He broke the NFL record for rushing yards in a season as a team-wise.
Exactly. And that's the
Almost
whole point is
3,200 yards.
they proved that you can still win running the ball, which I've always said you can do.
Yes.
Especially in bad weather. I mean, that's a bad weather team. They can play it. They can play in the elements, no matter how you want to play. If it's a nice day, Lamar Jackson can throw the ball and tear you up throwing the ball. If it's a lousy day and they need to run the football, they'll run the football all day. They got a tremendous offensive line, and they've got a damn good defense. I mean, that's a team that's going to be really, really tough to beat.
Are they the favorites in the AFC?
You would think so. I mean, I think the Chiefs have a shot.
Chiefs defense been playing really good lately.
Yeah, they've definitely picked it up.
Spags is rounding them into form nicely. I think the Chiefs are going to go to the Super Bowl.
Boy, I don't know. You think they're going to win in Baltimore?
Yes.
I mean, listen, I hope so for Andy's sake because I think Andy Reid's always been a really good coach. I've always liked him. I just couldn't stand him because he was the coach of the Eagles. But now that he's coach of a different team, I can actually root for him, and I really do hope.
It's funny because he's the same thing as Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Giants are going to be interviewing their offensive coordinator. I can't remember his name. I did read today that he's on the short list of guys. That's a guy. Bieniemy, is that his name?
Yeah.
Bieniemy, I think. Yeah, they're going to interview him. He's a guy I wouldn't mind seeing coming over and coaching because you know what if he's good enough to coach Pat Mahomes, then he's good enough to coach Danny Jones. And Danny Jones, I think, is a guy that can be a franchise quarterback. He certainly 25 touchdown passes is pretty damn good for a rookie.
All right, let's get to some comments. Then we'll kick around the
Eagles.
The flux of the NFC East, and everyone needs a new coach.
Yep, except the Eagles. Okay, we got Dark Burrito. We can win this game. You can win the game. You're right. The 49ers missing two of their starting linebackers. That's correct. And they also, keep in mind, when the Seahawks beat the 49ers, they didn't have Kittles. So, I mean, he's their best player. That's how they got run on. The defense did pretty well against them before. Also, their offense is better than it was. I guess they're talking about. I guess Dark Burrito is talking about the Eagles against the Seahawks. 15-20 wins. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game than that. To be honest with you,
I agree with you there.
I think Seattle's going to score some points. I mean, I could see
it's a
like
low over under.
I see a game where it's like 30, 31.
No, it's a middle.
46.
46 is the over under.
I see like 30, 31-24, 34-21, something like that. 34-27 in that area for Seattle. I think the Eagles are going to get some points, but I think that the Eagles secondary is going to come back to bite them You know, I mean, didn't Darby
Look.
get hurt again?
Yeah, Darby's out for the year.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough
And he
loss.
stinks.
I know,
Mills,
but he was
Mills
still-
played.
he was
no,
still-
I think you're thinking of Mills.
Oh, was it Mills? Which one of them got hurt?
Mills got hurt against Dallas and was inactive yesterday.
Okay, then it's Mills, the guy with the green hair.
Yeah, that's Mills.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
they need him to play.
Yeah, he that's a tough injury, and again, the Eagles.
I was very
The
surprised.
Eagles, if I'm handicapping the game, the Eagles just have too many guys hurt. It's at some point, it's about talent, and at some point, they're outmanned talent wise with all these guys being injured. I don't see how they can beat a team like Seattle. Maybe they can, but I just don't see it. I mean, they've got more injuries now than they did the first time they played them.
And then I'm gonna set the over under, of how. Do you think they're gonna wear dog masks again, because they're home dogs?
They might bring back the masks. But they're not a significant home dog right now. I think they said they were up to 1.5.
2, 1.5.
1.5, 2.
Open at one.
Didn't the Eagles open up as a favorite this morning? That everybody
I
bet
saw it
Seattle.
open
I
at
thought the line moved.
-1.
The Eagles woke up as favorites this morning, and when you woke up, the Eagles were
I
favorites.
did not
and
see that. No.
That's what I thought I saw, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, the
-1.
line didn't move.
-1. I saw it open, and now it's -2. All right, Greg Milakovic. I'll get it out. What's up, fellas? I disagree to the poll. It's great. We're still playing, but we aren't a good team. This is where the luck runs out. I agree. It's great. We're still playing. I agree. They're not a good team. They just have a great quarterback. I guess they have a great coach. I got on Doug a lot this year, but I don't understand why it takes him 12 weeks to get his shit together, and for this team has to have their backs against the wall to, finally buck up and do something. I don't know why we can't be ahead of the curve instead of just reactionary all the time. But teach their own.
He had an
and
excuse.
Doug-
He had an excuse this year. I mean, they did lose a lot of guys to a lot of manpower games due to injury. I mean, it's remarkable that they
it's
were
not
able to
about
win that
It's
division.
it's just when I watch the games and how they unfold, it's just frustrating sometimes. But they're in the playoffs. He won the division again, and he's probably going to get an extension.
But I'll tell you one thing.
Doesn't mean his philosophies aren't flawed. Doesn't mean he needs to improve his coaching staff, and it doesn't mean that they have to improve this roster in the offseason just because they have a home playoff game.
What they do have to do against Seattle is play 60 minutes. They can't play 15 minutes and expect to win. I mean, they can get away with that against the Giants because the Giants are the Giants, and they can get away with that with the Redskins.
I thought they did a lot better with that yesterday.
It was the score was tied going into the fourth quarter.
I get it, but the Giants didn't roll over, and the Eagles were very injured, and I knew the Giants weren't going to roll over.
No, but they
And-
rolled over in the fourth quarter. I mean,
Well,
let's put it
the
this way:
Eagles
they play the Giants always.
The Eagles were just the more motivated team. Like
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not
going
going to use. I'm not going to use that as an excuse
You got
for the Giants losing. Listen, the Patriots were motivated to beat the Dolphins, and yet Ryan Fitzpatrick marched the Dolphins right down the field in the last 3 minutes to beat the Patriots.
They were.
I mean,
And Barkley made a big run, and I'm trying to think what else happened. Like how the Giants got their points.
well, Jones made a touchdown pass.
Yes.
Barkley
Barkley
got
had
the run, and then they kicked the field goal.
And that was it.
That was their 17 points. I mean, and the killer
And then
was
the
the
Eagles
killer
got the-
was the killer was that Jones when he
He
got
fumbled.
that bad snap, he should have just fallen on the ball instead of trying to pick it up and make a play.
Right.
And he's that's the problem with rookie quarterbacks is that a rookie quarterback is going to try to pick up the ball even when there's a big rush and try to make a play instead of just falling on it and learn to play another day instead of allowing the Eagles to get the ball on the 2-yard line and putting the Giants defense in a hole like that, which there's no way the Giants are going to stop the Eagles from the 2-yard line in
No.
a situation like that.
Did
It's
you see the video
not going
online
to happen.
on the touchdown where Boston Scott ran in and they went up 27-17? Jerry Jones was watching, in his little box there in
Oh,
Jerry
he got
World,
all upset.
and you could just see his heartbreak on the TV.
Oh, isn't that too bad? Well, maybe you guys shouldn't have lost to the Jets, or you shouldn't have lost to the Bears.
The Eagles
Well,
show up
Eagles,
against the Eagles.
show up against the Eagles. Your
They even
arch
show up.
rivals.
They even show up in that game.
I mean, just little things like that.
No, but he's got
show up against Green Bay and not fall
No,
behind
but he's got
31-3.
He's got Steven up there and all those other little lackeys.
Get mutilated at home by the Minnesota Vikings, who basically
and then Boston Scott,
are a great home team,
Yeah.
but not a good road team. I mean,
Boston Scott ran it up in there, and Jerry they just all the lackeys look at each other, and Jerry just tips his head and starts watching the game.
yeah, well, you know what?
What a shame.
Too bad. 8-8 is not good enough to get to the playoffs.
All right, Mike Parker. I would say this happens more often than people think. I remember when the Cardinals made the playoffs at 7-9, like 8 years ago.
No, they were 9-7.
I mean, okay, but I mean, usually it takes 10, 11 wins to win a division.
Well, the
I-
Giants
I'm not-
won the Super Bowl.
All I'm
with
saying is
going
I'm not
9-7.
ready to change the rules
I don't think you
because
should get-
I
I don't think you should get a home game if you're playing against a team.
But this is a huge outlier, Brad. I mean, I'm not ready to change the rules of the best professional sports league in the world because of an outlier. You win your division, you get a home playoff game. It's incentivized to do well and win your division. Seattle, they should have won the game last night if they wanted a home game.
They should have. But you know what? Unfortunately, they had to play the San Francisco 49ers twice, and the Eagles never played anybody like that all season. They were busy playing teams like the Giants and Dallas.
Okay, and we already talked about
And,
how
I mean, it is what it is.
Well,
What
stop
I'm saying,
the nonsense of the Eagles
the
don't
record-
deserve a home playoff
Oh, they
game.
don't.
They won the
They
division.
don't.
They won
No.
the division.
A division
They
winner,
deserve a home playoff
if
game.
you're-
That's
if
the
you have-
rules. The rules
That's
are
the
just.
rules. The rules are horrible.
Would you stop?
The NBA has it right. Okay, if you win your division, yes, you get to make the playoffs. But guess what? To have a home game, you should have a better record than the team you're playing against. That's ridiculous. It's the only league. It's the only league in professional sports that you can have such stupidity take place. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean,
You can't. I mean, you can't. You can't even. You can't. How do you justify that?
I don't justify it. I justify it. It's an exception. It's not the rule.
No, but let's be honest, okay? If
99 times out of 100, the wild card teams have a worse record than the division champions. And you want to rip up the whole system because the Eagles have a home playoff game, because they only went 9-7, because they played the AFC East and the NFC East stunk. You would change all the rules because the Eagles have a home playoff
basically,
game.
if you take the
And
Giants,
that would be. Oh, Philadelphia has something nice when they don't deserve it. Let's change everything.
they don't deserve a home game. How do they
They
deserve a
won
home
their
game?
division.
Yeah, they won probably historically one of the worst divisions in the history
It
of
never
the NFL.
works out like that where
I mean,
division
you had a 4-12
never
team
works out.
and a 3-13 team in the same division.
I get it.
Along with
I
an
get
8-8 team, and really, if you want to look at Dallas realistically, 8-8, they're really a 3-8. If you take away the joke teams Dallas beat, they were really 3-8 because they lost to the they beat the Dolphins once, they beat the Cowboys, they beat the Giants twice, and they
Look,
beat
the
the Redskins
NFC
twice.
East champion.
They won
It was
five.
a fugazi division.
Listen, if you take those 5 wins out,
Yeah, the Eagles.
Dallas was 3-8.
The Eagles, I think it was 19-45, the combined record of the Eagles. Like, if you put the record, added up all the records of the Eagles, teams the Eagles beat, I think it was 19-45. It's a total outlier. It's the exception. It's not the rule.
But what
that's
I'm
all
saying
my,
is
that's
the
my only
NBA,
point.
the NBA has it right. Okay, if you win the division, you deserve to make the playoffs, absolutely. But you don't necessarily get home court. If a second place team has a better record than you in the playoffs in the second round, you're on the road. Just because you won the division does not give you home court advantage.
Mike Parker, if they get it done against Seattle, Doug will be newly proclaimed as an official Wizard. Yeah, I mean, I'm I've called Doug Peterson the dummy Doug all year. I thought 95% of this team's problems were scheme and coaching. The slow starts, the play calling, the not giving Miles Sanders the ball.
Maybe some of the young players who were playing now
like I said,
instill a little life into this team.
I think the practice squad guys have definitely instilled Boston Scott, Greg Ward, Robert Davis, Deontay Burnett.
They've instilled. They've
Matt Pryor coming in on the offensive line.
They've been a breath of fresh air for this team.
It's been awesome.
They blew some life into the team.
It's been awesome. Yes.
I mean, sometimes that happens. I mean, it's if you look at it, look at the
players.
Yankees.
The players know.
Look at the Yankees.
Yeah.
All the injuries they had, they bring up all these guys, all these young players, and you know what? The young players definitely breathed some fresh air onto this team, and they played great. Sometimes that's what happens, you know? I mean, and look, we'll see what happens. I mean, upsets do happen in the NFL. You never know. The Giants were 9-7 in 2011, and they won the Super Bowl that year.
Right, but don't you think that the players know who's good and who's not, even if the coaches have their opinion? So like, you don't think the players see like, well, I mean, this guy Matt Collins and Jordan Matthews, like these guys, and they're not doing nothing. I'm watching these guys work hard in practice.
Why aren't you letting?
I'm watching Greg Ward work hard in practice. I'm watching Boston Scott work hard in practice. And
why not let them
these
play?
Players, these coaches think that Jordan Matthews and Matt Collins are the answers.
Or Jay Ajayi.
And then when those players,
Jay Ajayi too. I mean,
Jordan Howard got hurt, and they signed him. Jordan Howard was able to suit up yesterday. I saw him in on one play, didn't carry the ball. We'll see what kind of role he has. But my point is the players know. And then when the players that the players like and see that are doing good start doing good in the game, it gets things steamrolling. And that's where the Eagles are at right now.
It breeds some fresh air into the team. I think the team in the first half of the season.
This team has momentum. Would you agree that the Eagles have momentum?
Yeah, well, they've won 4 in a row.
Okay, I'm just asking because you buried them at the top of the show for not beating anybody.
They're on a roll, but I'm going to tell you right now, they've been getting away with playing one quarter against a lot of these teams. Dallas game they played.
No, they did better again. They did better with that yesterday.
Well, the Giants played 3 quarters, and they didn't play. And the Eagles played the.
I fully expected that to be a tight game. I fully expected the Giants to come out swinging, and the Giants did. They just didn't quite have enough.
Well, their defense is just terrible. But, I mean, look, the Eagles did what they had to do.
Your defense has – it's got some –
yeah, but they make a lot of mistakes. They do
because they're young. I think
they don't know how to cover. That's part of the problem. And
I think getting Janoris Jenkins out of there was awesome for you guys.
I agree with that. Janoris Jenkins was
who's the guy
cancer on that team?
Eric Mayo, the linebacker. What's his name?
Yeah, he's not bad. Mayo is not bad. Also, they're going to get John Connolly back next year. And John Connolly was very good at the beginning of the season, the linebacker.
I like the corners. I like Julian Love out of Notre Dame, and I like DeAndre Baker out of Georgia.
Baker picked it up in the second half of the season.
Julian Love, he's a good player.
Yeah, no, they've got some guys, but they have no pass rush.
And Lawrence not a pass rusher. He's a nose tackle, but, I mean, he looks like a decent enough guy.
Williams is okay if they re-sign him. He's okay. I mean, he can force pressure from the inside. He never gets any sacks. But what the Giants need right now is Goldson had a good year, but they're not going to re-sign him because he's going to want a lot of money, and he's not. He's more of a second fiddle defensive end and not or an outside linebacker as opposed to a number. Well,
that doesn't seem to make sense to me. You have a pass rusher in house that got you 10 sacks. You're gonna let him walk when you need pass rushers. How much does that make?
Because if he's gonna,
you got $80 million in cap space coming.
Right, but if he's gonna, he's more. I think he'd be more effective if you got a stud on one side and then you had him on the other side.
Maybe he's
then
your stud.
Maybe you could have a track meet. Yeah, but he's not a young guy, Goldson. I mean, he had a great year in 2016. And then in 17 and 18, you know, he was injured, and this year he stayed healthy, and the Giants gave him a 1-year prove-it contract, and he proved it. He had a big year. I guess
you're right.
I just wonder how much money he's going to want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to be careful with giving guys like that. I get it.
Guys like that. I mean, do you want to give a guy like that $15 million a year for 5 years?
How old is he?
I think he's like 30 now. He's not a young guy. Goldson's been around for a while.
That's tough.
Yeah, but he was good. He was good this year. It depends on. See, to me,
Sounds like a nerd problem for you nerd Giants
Three-
fans to figure out.
3 years, $30 million. I would consider that, but I wouldn't pay him more than $10 million a year. I mean, they need a stud outside defensive lineman, a defensive end preferably on the other side.
You got to draft those guys. Those guys don't hit the open market.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point. They will get a chance to do that. They may not be able to get Chase. What the hell's his last name?
Chase Young.
Chase
Yeah,
Young.
You're
They
probably
won't.
gonna miss on him.
They won't get him, but he may end up not even coming out too. We don't know yet because he gets declared. If he comes
he's
out,
playing some games.
yeah, but if
He
he
didn't
comes
come
out,
out.
he could be the first round pick. I mean, the Bengals could end up drafting him.
They could.
I mean, it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible what the Bengals could do is trade is not pick the quarterback, trade the first round pick and drop down a notch or two, and then pick him up. They
I mean,
can
we'll
certainly
see.
do that. The Giants are in a position where if the Giants want to make some moves, try to move up in the draft, they could. I mean, I don't know if they will or not. They have all their they have picks in every round.
I mean,
They don't have their third round pick, but they have Cleveland's third round pick. So I mean, they're
yeah, but I get it. Like, you're fourth. How much
Yeah.
higher? How much higher you want to go? I
well,
mean,
if you go first or second, you can get Chase Young.
yeah, but did you see how much the Niners gave or the Bears gave up a few years ago just to move up one spot?
Yeah, well,
Is
I
that
mean,
even worth it?
No, probably not.
Just take.
There are other good defensive linemen out there.
There's other good players out there.
Yeah, there's plenty of good players
Yeah.
out there. So I mean, and
All right.
back
Back to the old comments here. Mike Parker Busty's got looking like a little bit like Sproles. He's got a hungry attitude and he can influence others with that. He's a walk-on. Yeah, I mean, we just touched on that. Boston Scott's been great. I hope Miles Sanders plays on Sunday, and I hope he's great because I don't think look, I just don't know. Like the Brooks injury and the Sanders injury were just like the kind of might be
They're
the
really
straws,
banged up.
the straws that break the camel's
I mean,
back.
how many
so to
guys?
speak.
How many guys can you lose?
And then Brandon Brooks, he gets injured blocking on the extra point, which was killer. I mean, Boston Scott, he had 3 touchdowns. I mean, he's forever an Eagles.
He's a player.
Giants rivalry legend.
He's a
in
player.
Philadelphia.
He's a player.
He had the nice spin move. He had the
I mean, he didn't just play well against the. It's not like he just played well against the Giants. He played well in every game he played in. He's not a bad player. He can be a Sproles type player. Give you some spark off the bench. Be a change of pace running back.
Christian Miranda, death to Seattle. Niners for life. You're a Niners fan. I do think the Niners are going to go to the Super Bowl, the NFC.
Don't you think that they need a year of experience in the playoffs? I mean, a lot of these teams sometimes first time in the play. Although, the 49ers did win the Super Bowl.
I think they're the best team. And I don't know who's going to win the Super Bowl.
I would think probably the Ravens would be the
I like the Chiefs.
more than likely favorite.
I think it's going to be the Niners. It's going to be the Niners and the Packers in the NFC and the Chiefs and the Ravens. I don't know. I look at this playoff bracket, Brad. I see it holding serve.
Yeah, I see the
Seeds holding serve,
I
home
see the
field
I
holding
see the
serve
I see
until
the Saints.
Chiefs beat the Ravens in Baltimore.
I think the Saints and the Ravens in the Super Bowl.
We'll get into that in a little bit. Jeff Lohmeyer, 23-17 Eagles control the clock on offense and let defense shine once again. Yeah, I'm down with that. I'm down with that. That game flow, that game script. I'm wary of getting into a shootout with Russell Wilson, so I do think the Eagles are going to need stops.
I think the Eagles are going to need to score some points. I mean,
Yeah, I'd rather get stops.
I understand that, but I don't think you're going to get stops. I think your secondary is bad, and I think they're going to score. I think Seattle's going to score a lot of points.
Bad, and it's hurt. Terrible combination, Brad.
I think the Eagles just are going to have. I think the Eagles will get some stops, but they're going to have to score a lot of points. The Eagles are going to have to score.
What's a lot of points?
They're going to have to score at least 30 points to win this game.
I feel like you say that every week. Whenever the Eagles have a big game, they got to score 30 points, and the defense shows up.
They scored 30 points yesterday.
They did.
They scored 30 points against the against the Redskins.
Yes, because they got the one at the end.
Yeah, I mean they've been when they're able to score, their defense plays. It seems to me that when they're able to score, their defense seems to play better. Maybe it's my imagination, but
Christian Miranda, feast mode, couldn't make enough plays. Hate to see it. Philly over Seattle wildcard game. So Christian Miranda, he looks like he hates Seattle. He likes the Niners, and he's rooting for the Eagles.
Well, because he would rather see the 49ers play the Eagles than the Seahawks, obviously, because he's probably afraid of the Seahawks. And he should be, because the Seahawks are pretty good. I mean, listen, I don't know that the problem with the 49ers, the way they match up is they're such a damn physical team and such a bruising team. Whoever has to play them in the next round, they're going to be rested and you're going to be beat up.
Huge.
You're going to be beat up from the game from the week before, and
the bye is huge.
It is, and especially against a physical team like the 49ers. The 49ers are one of the most physical teams we've seen in a while in the playoffs. You know what other teams kind of like them too is Tennessee. And that's why I know what everybody's saying about Tennessee and the Patriots, but you know what?
Tennessee might win. I don't think the Patriots are that good at all.
Would you be surprised if Tennessee punched them in the mouth and they weren't able to recover?
Well, the Patriots have the defense.
Yeah, they do.
That's the only thing.
They do, but you know what? But the one thing that they
I don't
do
see
well,
Derek. My point is, I don't see Derrick Henry ripping off 50-yard runs against the Patriots defense.
No, but I could see him, banging and wearing that defense down. And Tannehill has done an outstanding job.
Tannehill's awesome.
He really, and he's a free agent this year too.
He got himself.
He's going to get himself. He's going to get paid. That's for sure. He's going to get paid. I don't know what team he's going to end up on.
You think the Titans pay him?
They might.
They should.
What are they going to do with Mariota?
Fuck that guy.
Is Mariota going to end up being on the?
Stinks. So I mean, how many chances did he have?
No, you're right. Here's my question.
He either didn't perform or was hurt.
Here's my question for you. As far as the backup quarterback for the Patriots next year, is it going to be Andy Dalton or is it going to be Marcus Mariota? Because I have a feeling between those two guys, one of them is going to end up being the backup for New England. And you never know with Belichick as a coach. Maybe things change with those two guys, with one of those two.
I don't know. I wasn't prepared to talk about the Patriots' potential backup quarterback next year.
Just throwing it out there, A couple of guys who were
I know, and they definitely got to figure out life.
Because Burrow is going to be their Cincinnati's quarterback next year, most likely, unless they trade the pick.
Unless they screw it up and overthink it and don't take them,
or they trade the pick.
Threw 7 touchdowns in the first half.
Oh, I know.
Of the playoff game.
Who's got the second pick in the draft? Detroit?
Washington, right? I think it's Washington.
Washington.
Frank, can you bring up the draft order, please?
Washington's not going to pick a quarterback.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right. Washington was 3-13,
I think it's Washington,
right?
Yeah.
Washington, I believe, they do have the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, they're not going to pick a quarterback.
Jeff Lormeyer, the link is a whole nother monster. In January, Seattle will not win this one. Look, Jeff, I agree with you. I feel good about the game. I think the Eagles have won 4 straight. I think that the mojo that these practice squad guys succeeding is nothing to sneeze at. And I think Carson is a top 3 MVP candidate. So I like their chances. They're at home. They're dogs. They seem to like this underdog mentality. I feel good about the game. Now, they might lose. Seattle's really good.
It's going to be a tough game for them.
Yeah.
But I feel good about the game. What's the draft order,
All right,
Frank?
so the entire draft order. We got the Bengals at number 1, Washington 2, Lions 3,
Lions.
Brad-
They blow.
Brad's Giants at 4. The Dolphins
That
at
and clean
5.
up.
Chargers at 6. Panthers 7. Arizona 8. Jacksonville 9. Cleveland 10. Jets 11. Raiders 12. Colts 13. Bucks 14. Broncos 15. Falcons 16. Cowboys 17. Pittsburgh has the 18th pick, but that's traded to Miami. Chicago has the 19th overall pick, but that gets traded to Oakland from the Khalil Mack trade. And number 20, L.A. Rams, that
So-
pick goes to the Jaguars thanks to the Jalen Ramsey trade.
So Miami has 3 picks.
Yes.
Oakland has 2 picks. Jacksonville has 2 picks.
Yes.
In the top, 20. Right?
Miami does not have another one in the top. Oh, they do, yeah, because of the Minka Fitzpatrick trade, yeah.
They have 3 in the top 20.
2 in the top 20. The
They
fifth,
have another one, right?
all I know so far is I got the top 20. I don't know what the rest of the order is going to be like until the
Right.
playoffs go on.
Didn't they get another first-round pick from someone?
Maybe,
They have Houston's pick.
yeah.
Didn't they
They
trade?
traded Tunzel.
Yeah.
They have 3 first-rounders.
They
2
do,
in the
yeah.
top 20.
Wherever the Texans.
2 have been determined.
Yeah.
One not
Texans
so much
pick, we
yet.
don't know yet. So
Got
that's
you.
right. Yep.
Okay.
I knew there was something.
But
So they could move up in the draft.
they could, yes.
Yeah, they could move up in the draft.
They could, yes. Jake Friel, what's up, boys? Check out Jake. I don't even know what Jake's on these days.
Yeah,
Well, he's
hockey
well,
happy hour.
he was on Saturday talking about the
I
Penn
think he's
State
on
Memphis.
Birds now. Is he on Birds of a Feather now?
No, that's Pete. Pete's on Birds of a Feather now.
Okay, so Jake's still on Saturday. Check out Jake's Saturdays.
Jake's still on Saturday.
Saturday afternoons, 1 o'clock. I was on with Greg last Saturday. I watched, talking some Penn State. What's up, boys? To the poll, I agree. The link is going to be a madhouse. I can't wait. A lot of stock being put into home field advantage here. Mark Spills, salty take right here, guys. And that's it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what Mark Spills was. Jeff Loomer, overcoming what the Eagles have and taking care of business earns you a home game. Sorry. So Jeff agrees with me. He doesn't want to tear up the rules and change the seating. And if you win your division, you get a home playoff game. That's the way it should be. Jeff. Plus, you win your home game, you find yourself playing on the road against a higher seeded team. So, playoff format is perfectly fine the way it is. That's from Michael DeAndrea.
Well, of course, because you want your home game. So of course you're going to say that. Let's be honest. And let's be fair
but
about it.
I have been
If you're
consistent on this
playing-
because this comes up every couple of years when something like this happens.
Right, and it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. If your record is 9-7, and you're playing a team that's 11-5, you should be on the road. It's that simple. That's a terrible rule. That's a rule that needs to be changed.
Christian Miranda. Teams must win a minimum of 8 games to be playoff eligible. If you have a 7-9 division winner, they don't qualify.
Nah,
Instead,
you
he's on a
can't do
third
that
wild
because
card
if you
team.
win the division, you win the division. I mean, you have to be rewarded for winning the division, regardless of how bad it was.
I mean, 7-9. I remember it happened,
It happened with the Seahawks,
and they won their playoff.
and they
game.
won their playoff game. I think they beat the Saints, didn't they?
I believe you're correct. Yeah, because Beast Mode had
And
that
the
run.
Saints, and the Saints that year were like 14 and
Yeah,
maybe,
they
were
had a really good record.
Yeah, they maybe not 14-2. They were probably like 12-4 or something like that.
Marty DiTomaso. I remember when Eli led the Giants to the division title at 9-7.
Yes, he
beat
did.
Tampa and the Patriots. Hopefully the stars align again.
Well, they didn't beat Tampa and the Patriots that year. That was
Didn't they beat Tampa?
2007. That they didn't play Tampa that year. In 2012, they played Atlanta. They beat Atlanta. They beat Green Bay, and then they beat San Francisco.
I thought I remember them beating Tampa Bay one year.
That was in
on the West.
2007, and the Giants were 10-6 that year.
Okay.
And the year they were 10-6, they were a wild card team. They won in Tampa Bay. They won in Dallas, and then they won in Green Bay.
Still, overlying point is
They were on the road
one
for
game,
all 3
one
games.
game at a time.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, if the Eagles win this game, they're going to have to go to San Francisco, most likely. Unless the Saints lose to the Vikings, and that's not going to happen. I think the Saints are going to chew them up and spit them out.
Yes.
I mean, for 2 reasons. Cousins playing in a big
They
game.
put on a clinic against the Carolina Panthers on Sunday.
Yeah,
An
well,
absolute
Cousins-
clinic.
Cousins playing in a big game is reason number 1. Reason number 2 is the Saints in that building offensively are just mind-bogglingly good. I mean, that's the kind of game that could be your.
Well, the last playoff game in
that
the
could be a
Superdome.
massacre.
The last playoff game in the Superdome was the no call, the pass interference no call,
Right.
and their last playoff loss before that was the Minnesota Miracle. So they're
Oh, I'm sure they haven't forgotten the Minnesota ridiculousness of that game.
no. I really like the Saints to advance.
Yeah, I think the Saints
really like the Saints to advance.
I think the line already is 8.5 in that game, isn't it?
I saw 8. Could be 8.5.
Yeah, I thought I heard 8.5 this morning or this afternoon actually. Thought I heard 8.5. I mean, I think the Saints are gonna beat them bad. I think that they're gonna have that. I think that game's gonna stick in their craw quite a bit. That Minneapolis Miracle, because that was a devastating loss. That's a loss that never should have happened,
Bob Brakeman, it's hard for a team to beat a team twice in 1 year.
especially in their building twice.
Yes, I think we got this. Bob, I feel good about the game. Bob. I don't feel great often about this team, especially this season, but I feel good about this game coming up.
Yeah, I don't think you should feel so good about it because they're not a good team and they're not better than Seattle.
I felt good about the Redskins game. I didn't feel good about yesterday.
Well,
I
the
feel good about the
Redskins
Seattle
stink,
game.
though. And to be honest,
The
with
Eagles stink, Brad. Nothing's guaranteed for this football team. Nothing.
well, the only game I'm trying to think. The only game I think that's an easy one is the Saints and Minnesota. I think the Saints just massacre them. The other games are going to be pretty close.
All right, let's go through the games. We have about a few minutes left in this half of the show. Gets going Saturday, January 4th, Saturday. The first football game, the first NFL game of the new decade. The Buffalo Bills visit the Houston Texans. The Texans are a slim 2.5-point favorite. I think the Texans win this game. I think they cut their teeth last year in an embarrassing loss to the Colts. I think Deshaun Watson gets this one done this time around. I think they win a playoff game and then fizzle out against the Chiefs or the
Yeah, well, they're not. If they have to go on the
Ravens.
road, they're going to get clobbered. But on the home game against Buffalo, I think they win. I do think they win.
I like them.
Yeah, I do too.
Saturday night, 8:15, Tennessee visits Foxborough. Patriots cost themselves a bye week, losing to the stinky Dolphins.
I think the Patriots win the game.
They are
I
a
don't know if-
4.5-point favorite.
I think Tennessee covers, but I think the Patriots win the game.
This is tough because I don't think the Patriots are that good. They haven't established a running game all year. Sony Michel's been pretty bad for a first-round pick. Their line isn't what it's been in years past. Brady hasn't been what he's been in years past. You know, they have no one that stretches the field. Edelman's a slot guy.
Sanu can
He's
sort of
not.
stretch
He's
the
not.
field.
He's not a burner though.
Not
He's an
anymore.
outside
He's
player.
not really. He's not anymore. He was in Atlanta. For
He's
a
an
while, but
outside
he's-
player. He's an outside receiver with Edelman in the slot. But I wouldn't consider he's a big target for Brady. But I wouldn't consider him a burner. You got the rookie N'Keal Harry who like shows signs.
Now, James
They have
White. James
nothing.
White can still fly.
He's dynamic.
Hogan can
he's a
still
running
fly.
back.
I mean, well, but they use
They
the
have
running
no
backs as
tight end to
receivers.
speak of. They didn't replace Gronk.
No,
Gronk
they
retired. They didn't replace Gronk.
Well,
Brady,
you know what it
Brady
is?
loves his
they
tight
kept
ends.
they kept thinking.
But they have that defense.
I know, but you know what? I think they kept thinking Gronk was going to come back, and Gronk kept saying,
He might
no,
come
no,
back
no,
next
no.
year.
Maybe. I mean, his body definitely needed a year off. I mean, it's
He's
kind
a
of
physical,
like
physical player.
Kind of like Jason Witten. I think Jason Witten's body needed a year off.
He
I
didn't have a
think
bad season.
No, I don't know if he's going to retire or not. That should be interesting to see. When Dallas gets their new coach, I think we'll see if their new coach wants him. Maybe they can persuade him to get
A lot of
even
Titans
one
love
more
here
year.
in the chat. Jeff Lomar, Tannehill is going to doo-doo on New England. I mean,
I don't know about that. Although he's played him enough.
other than Carson Wentz, is there a hotter quarterback in the league than Tannehill? He's been unreal.
Well, there is a quarterback that's hotter than both of them put together, actually.
Who?
Lamar Jackson.
I mean,
But but back
yeah,
to your
I get it, but
back
I mean,
to your point. Back to your point. Tannehill's been really good. But you know
AJ
what,
Brown, AJ
but
Brown
they played, and he's played. The one thing, and I don't know whose advantage this is going to be, and maybe you guys can tell me what you think, you fans out there. Ryan Tannehill has played the Patriots more than enough times to know what they like to do.
Very true. His time in Miami.
Exactly. Now, Bill Belichick, conversely, has also played Ryan Tannehill enough to know what he likes to do and what his tendencies are. So, who gets the advantage here? I guess is the question.
Well, and then you also there are a lot of storylines in this game now that we're
I mean,
peeling
that's
back
an
the onion.
interesting. That's
And
an
then you have
interesting
Vrabel, who's the coach of the Titans,
right? Who used to be was with the Patriots all those
forever.
years. So I mean, there is some
He's a pretty good coach.
There is
Vrabel.
some familiarity as far as these two teams are concerned. The only thing I mean, the Titans are a very physical team as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
next
hit
to
you in
San
the mouth.
Francisco, that's what I'm saying.
They're very well balanced.
They're a lot like San Francisco. They like to punch you in the mouth.
Derrick Henry
They like
Derrick Henry run the rushing title, by the way.
and Derrick Henry
1,500 yards
Yep,
plus.
1,534 yards. They like to slam the ball in your face. They like to run it and wear down the other team's defense, and
Very
that's
balanced team.
Yeah, that's their team, and they also they can throw the ball now. And Tannehill has really been.
Can I get
a good player.
Who are you picking?
I mean, I'm going to go with the Patriots because I can't overlook Tom Brady. You know,
He hasn't been good this season, though.
I know, but you know what? Here's the thing, Rob.
He's looked old.
I know he has, but you know what? Until the king is dead, until the champion is dead, I can't go against him. You know, if I was betting, I wouldn't bet that game because I don't know. I Brady would still scare me.
I can't see Tannehill marching into Foxborough and winning a playoff game against that defense.
Yeah, but that defense also allowed the Miami Dolphins to march right down the field in an incredibly big spot with Ryan Tannehill, with Fitzpatrick.
That is a tough game. I don't know who to pick.
I mean, it is a tough game. You know, I mean, listen, if you want the 4.5 points, it's not not a bad deal to take the points. I mean, I'd be inclined to take Tennessee in the points if you're betting the game and you want
I don't
to take
think
the
I
points.
can. I hear you.
I wouldn't. I
and
personally wouldn't touch.
I want to blurt out Titans outright.
I wouldn't
Brady's
touch-
dead.
I wouldn't-
Patriots are dead.
I wouldn't touch that game. I don't know. I mean, you know, you can never count Tom Brady. I didn't think the Patriots were going to beat the Chiefs last year, but they did. I knew they'd beat the Rams, but I didn't think they were going to beat the Chiefs.
I think that it'll be up to Andy Reid and Mahomes to slay the beast, to kill the champs.
You're
After.
probably right. That's what I'm saying.
What's up, Frank?
I can't
Praying
see.
over there?
Oh yes, I'm definitely praying. The good kind of on
What's
guys
wrong?
on the hockey happy hour. I hope the Patriots dynasty does end. I really want it to happen. Please.
So you like the Titans?
Well, not yet, but
I can't see it.
I
I can't get
it's-
there with them.
and the Titans. I just don't see it happening. Just want to.
But I think
Look,
they-
this hot
the one thing-
momentum
yeah,
the
stuff
one
with
thing-
Tannehill, that's great to get you to
Yeah,
the
it
playoffs.
is.
But
The one thing
I'll
about
take
the Titans,
Brady at
though,
home in the
the one
playoffs.
yeah,
thing-
Brady at home. Yeah.
The
and
one
I'll
thing
lay
about
I'll
the
lay the
Titans-
points.
The one thing about the Titans, though, they're going to beat them up to a point where they're going to get slaughtered by
Yeah.
Kansas City the next week. Because
Yeah.
that's a
I don't know if they're
going to
get slaughtered.
I think they might. I think there's
mean,
the potential for them to get slaughtered.
There's the potential I mean,
Kansas City
there's
could
that upset
slaughter
with,
anybody. That's the
yeah.
problem with that offense.
I think with the game being the potential Chiefs-Pats game in Kansas City, the Red Sea is always a huge factor. So I think Kansas City.
Andy off a bye is
Andy off the bye.
unbelievable.
Andy off the bye. I mean, that's what I'm hoping will end that dynasty right there.
Well, and we're hoping that Andy finally can win a big game.
Yeah. I think this will probably be the most important game in Andy's career. It might show what's going to happen in the next couple of years.
If Tennessee beat them a couple of years ago in the playoffs, didn't they?
They did. It was
The Chiefs blew a 21-3 lead.
They
game.
did. Yep.
That was what's his name's final year there, wasn't it?
It was who was the coach?
Who was their quarterback? Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
Yeah, that was Alex Smith's last year.
Playoff game.
Yeah, they had a 21-3 lead, and Tennessee came back and beat them.
Who was the coach? Because after that they got rid of him.
Wasn't it Bradley?
Maybe it wasn't Gus Bus. Oh my goodness.
Wasn't it Bradley, the guy from Penn State?
Andy.
Who was
Andy.
it?
Andy wasn't the coach?
No, for the Titans.
No, for the Titans.
Oh, for the Titans.
The Titans. It was.
Was it Fisher?
Was it Fisher?
No, Fisher was a long time ago.
Who was it?
I thought it was Bradley. I
why is
could
it
be
not showing
wrong.
me? All right, here we go. Let's see. The
Was
2000.
it Mike Munchak?
Malarkey. It was Mike Malarkey's.
The Mike
last-
Malarkey.
Yeah, it was the Mike Malarkey. It was Malarkey's final game.
Okay.
All right, then Sunday, 1 o'clock, we got the Vikings are going to the Superdome. The Saints are laying 8.
Lay the 8.
Lay the 8.
Lay the lumber.
Take the
I think
Saints.
the Saints are going to smoke them.
Saints are going. They're going downtown on this Vikings team. I don't think this Vikings team's anything special. I think this Vikings team's in big trouble if Dalvin Cook doesn't play.
They just haven't been the same
writings
since
on
he
the
got
wall. The writings on the wall when it comes to Kirk Cousins in big spots.
And New Orleans has a real good defense.
And Kamara looks like he's finally healthy. Michael Thomas is a beast.
Cook is having a hell of a year too.
Cook, Breeze.
They're
Taysom-
back at that. Their backup running back is also
Taysom
been
Hill,
really good.
Latavius Murray.
Murray, yeah,
Lot of
Murray's
good players
Murray's having one hell of a year. I mean,
A lot of good players. And then closing out the weekend, we talked about it a lot. Seattle, Philadelphia. I'll take the Eagles +2 at home.
I'll spot the 2.
Russell Wilson versus Carson Wentz. It's the premier quarterback matchup of the weekend. Is that the best game of the weekend?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think they
Most
got it right.
competitive game of the-
Usually they put the best game. They say the best one for last, and I think they got They got it right with that one. I think that's the most.
What network are the Eagles on?
That I don't know.
They are on the Peacock Network, NBC, at 4:40.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
So what, we got Collinsworth?
I believe we got Collinsworth.
Ugh.
Al Michaels and Collinsworth. What's wrong with them? I like them.
I like Al Michaels. but
Collinsworth.
Collinsworth.
It's just,
Boy, I'll tell you what. I don't know how you
Now,
guys. could
here's
not-
a guy-
Collinsworth loved Nick Foles. Boy, remember how much he loved Nick Foles?
He's a fucking chooch.
That he loved Nick Foles. Boy, I just remember.
Now, here's a guy that worked his tail off, a small school guy, every player. It's like Gruden with I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what, man. Here's a real good player, a real Gruden grinder. Chris Collinsworth. All right, we got to take a break. It was Black Monday in the NFL, a lot of coaching changes. Every coaching vacancy in the NFC East is available except for the Philadelphia Eagles. A couple other vacancies around. End of a decade, Brad.
Yep,
decade.
Cleveland is looking for a new
Cleveland.
coach.
Carolina, Jacksonville. It's the end of a decade. It's the end of a year. We'll take a look back at the decade and the year, and we'll touch around the rest of the world in sports. Sports Hounds will be back right after this. Welcome back to the Real Talk Studio. Sports Hounds with you till 10 o'clock. Last broadcast of the decade, last broadcast of the year. The Eagles are division champions. They'll take on Seattle at the Link on Wildcard Weekend, Sunday 4:40. Talked about the other games. Got the sports poll question. Will the Eagles, ATS sports poll question, will the Eagles beat the Seahawks? You can agree or disagree. We'll read your comments throughout the show on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, Instagram. Stream us on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud. Takeover is real. The takeover is going into the next decade, into 2020.
We on Instagram too,
We are.
and Periscope.
And Periscope. All of them.
All of them.
Everywhere. We're everywhere. And I know a few of us. I have tickets to the game. I think Frank Ralphie has tickets to the game on Sunday.
I'll
think
be at the game
You'll be at the game.
for other reasons.
Yes.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
You
Do
know,
things.
Business, not pleasure.
Business, yes.
Business, not pleasure. We got you.
But it will be a pleasure doing business there.
Yes.
Tom and
Every single week.
And, we got some people who not necessarily go to the game at the station. We're going down. We're going to go tailgate. We're going to go hand out some garb. I know I'm buying some garb off Tom after the show to give out some last-minute holiday gifts as the season comes to the end. So look for us tailgating. Look for our videos. Look for A2D. Bigger, better than ever into 2020, into the next decade. Brad, let's look around the NFC East. Let's look around the NFL because, this is it's a day to turn the page for these teams that didn't make the playoffs. Officially open are the Giants' job, the Redskins' job. For now, looks like Rivera's going to coach the Redskins. I can't imagine,
Cowboys.
Jason. Nothing official yet, but I can't imagine.
Well, what rumor has it is that his contract is over on January 12th, and Jerry is not going to renew it. So
that's that.
that's that. That's that. So he doesn't have to fire him. He just lets his contract run
He
out.
is such a nerd, that guy, Jason Garrett. Did you see him after his press conference in his suit?
You mean the clapper?
Yeah, he goes on the field
God.
with all his friends and family and plays catch. He plays catch after they beat the Redskins.
Yeah, well. Yeah, well, he wanted his last time on the field, so. Yeah, he's a goner.
So the Giants, the Redskins, and the Cowboys are all going to have new coaches next year, we would
Yep.
anticipate.
Yep.
Nothing official out of Jacksonville, unless I missed something.
Writing is on the wall
The
there.
writing is on the wall there.
Freddie Kitchens,
Freddie Kitchens
very
is
first
out.
guy to go.
Well, the first guy to go was,
Ron Rivera was the first one to go, but I mean, we're
Redskins and the
talking-
Panthers have been open for weeks.
Yeah,
That's a
but
good job, the Panthers' job, I think.
I think the Cowboy job is a good job if they get the right
Well,
coach.
I mean, yes and no. It's very hard to work with Jerry.
Yeah, but they got a lot of talent.
Remember
on that
how
team.
remember when Bill Parcells went in there?
Yeah, he only lasted for 2 years. He couldn't stand working there with Jerry.
He can't have control. Like,
Well, Jerry, because
If Jerry was smart-
Jerry has to let his son try to run the team instead of. Well, that's Jerry though.
but you look at these coaches. I think Matt Rule's an excellent head coaching candidate.
Don't want him. Don't want a college coach.
Now that you're talking in terms of the Giants.
Of course. I don't want a college coach coaching my team. They never work out. Never, never, never.
I think Rule's got a chance, though. So, okay, so your team, you're a Giants fan.
Mm-hmm.
Your team needs a coach.
I can think of two coaches I wouldn't mind having. If you're going to go the
You got to think they're going to go an offensive guy,
If you're going to
correct?
get an offensive coordinator, I wouldn't mind Bieniemy from Kansas City, one of Andy's guys. Think he'd be good. Or Mike McCarthy. Those would be the guys I would want.
Mike McCarthy's going to want control, though. Is Gettleman going to give up control?
I don't know. That's the problem. That's why I wanted Gettleman out. To be honest with you, I wanted.
To
wanted
me,
the Giants to get
Mike
rid of both of them.
McCarthy and the Cleveland Browns is just a perfect
Mike
match.
McCarthy is not going to go there. I
You
can
know?
tell you that he's not.
Why
gonna go
not?
there. Do you really think a guy like Mike McCarthy is going to want to work with those clowns, and he's going to want to work with the clown upper management of that team?
That's the point, Brad. He's going to come in and he's going to be the GM and the coach.
Right, but the owners are such knuckleheads, and they have so many knuckleheads on that team. I don't.
Well, do
see
you
it,
think
Rob.
Odell's going to be there?
If they trade him, they're going to end up with a lot of dead cap space now. Because you know what, the Giants
I
carry
wouldn't
this
trade
cap
him.
space.
Don't you think an offensive guy like McCarthy with Baker and Odell and Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb almost won the rushing title.
I
Derrick
realize
Henry
that.
beat him out by just a few yards.
But I'll tell you what.
You have Kareem Hunt there, who's a talented guy who has
I'm
had
gonna-
his troubles.
I'm going to tell you something. Baker, to me, doesn't look all that good. He looked. I mean, I watched a little bit of the Bengals-Browns game yesterday because I just wanted to see. I just wanted to see, Odell one more time.
Made a
By the way,
phenomenal
made an
touchdown catch.
unbelievable catch in the
That's
fourth
Odell.
quarter. Yeah, he
That's
made
Odell
it
for you.
great. Of course, the next drive, he had one go right through his hands on the 20-yard
That's
line.
also Odell for you.
Yeah, that's the problem with Odell is he'll make that catch, and then the one you really need to keep a drive alive late in the game, he doesn't make those catches.
It would seem that Mike McCarthy's going to get a job, though, correct?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I'll tell you what job he would have gotten if there would have been a firing was the Atlanta job. Could you see him running to Atlanta with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones?
Yeah, I don't understand why.
I don't understand why Atlanta kept Quinn. I just don't get that at all. Because McCarthy would have been a perfect fit for that team.
And
But-
I think Matt Rule
I mean, I know
is
McCarthy.
a great fit for.
McCarthy interviewed with the Panthers, but he didn't go there. He hasn't signed there yet, so he may not want to coach there because maybe he doesn't want to coach Cam or ends up having to draft somebody. Who knows?
No, I agree. I think he would be better with a traditional pocket passer, don't you think?
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah.
you don't know. I mean, Cam. I mean, he won the MVP and went to the Super Bowl in 2015.
But he's been hurt. It seems like
He's been hurt
every year.
and not very good ever since. I mean,
Yeah.
seems like his best days are behind him.
Yeah, I mean, I think a new quarterback is in order for that team.
And I don't see Mike McCarthy going to the Jaguars, assuming that job opens.
No, I don't think that's not the team.
So that
he's
leaves
gonna go
McCarthy
to.
to the Giants, McCarthy to the Browns. Looks like Ron Rivera is going to go to the Redskins.
What about McCarthy to the Cowboys? That would be a little scary because you know what he
Are they
But there's a
smart
fine-
enough? Are they smart enough to bite the bullet down there and give McCarthy what he wants
Are they
in
gonna
far
let- are
terms
they
of
gonna-
control?
yeah I said that. I don't know if he would.
Because I like McCarthy with Dak. I like McCarthy with that
Yeah,
offense.
it would scare me to have McCarthy there. I mean, I'm
And I
just hoping he
think-
doesn't go there.
Look, Dallas had 10, 11, 12 win talent this year.
Yeah, but you know
They
what?
just were a captainless ship.
Yeah, well, they need a guy. They need a guy to go in there and kick some butt, and McCarthy is the guy that can do that.
They need a leader.
Yeah, they need a guy. They need a they need the the dominant male in there. That's what the Giants need as well. I mean, a lot of teams need that right now.
And then Dallas won't be as talented next year. I think they're going to lose Byron Jones. I think they're going to lose Amari Cooper.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes maybe they had too much talent. Sometimes.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes you can have really talented guys. I mean, look, Janoris Jenkins was a good player, but you know what? He was such an asshole. The Giants finally just got rid of him because he was just being such a big asshole. And and then they played better after they got rid of him. Maybe these guys are just poison people, and they're not.
Yeah, they stink.
They're not conducive to a winning program. I mean, that could be it.
It looks like Anthony Lynn's going to get another shot out in.
Well, I think he deserves
Los
another shot. I
Angeles.
mean, I'll tell you what, the Chargers right now are
9-7, 12-4 in his first two seasons. So.
Yeah, but you know what? I think they're on the same path that the Giants are on, with Rivers. I think Rivers is just about had it, and I think they need to start considering another quarterback at this point.
That's tough. They don't grow on trees.
No, they don't. But see, San Diego, the Los Angeles Chargers are the kind of team, though. I mean, I could see that team maybe pulling the trigger on getting Tua, and keeping letting him play letting Rivers play one more year.
I'd be careful with Tua.
Yeah, but you could sit him out.
You
could sit him out for a year, though. That's if Tua has another year of eligibility, doesn't he?
Yeah, he can go to school.
Yeah, he could go to school next year because he's not going to play next year, most likely. So he might actually
in the
do
NFL.
that.
I don't know if he's going to play. Period. I mean, he shattered it. I mean, his hip injury.
Yeah. Well, the other problem with that injury is that he could re-injure it. But
Isn't it the same type of injury that ended Bo Jackson's career? I thought I read that somewhere.
Bo Jackson was older than him, though. I mean, Tua's only, 20, 21 years old? Bo Jackson was like 29, 30 when that happened.
I'm just saying, it's hard to play sports
is.
without your
Especially
hip.
football.
Especially when you're rely on athleticism like Tua did.
Yeah, especially football.
So I don't know what's going to happen with Tua. If I were an NFL GM, I wouldn't spend a first-round pick on Tua.
No, but I would spend a second or a third pick on him.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for a quarterback down the line, let him sit on the bench and just watch for a year.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, you never. It's a risk. It's definitely a high risk with him.
And then the other thing, bringing the college game. I mean, is Urban Meyer going to coach on Sundays next year? He was at the Redskins. He was at the Redskins game against the Eagles, watching Dwayne Haskins play.
I wouldn't read anything into that. I think that's more of a he came to watch Dwayne Haskins play. I don't think it has anything to do with him coaching the Redskins. So why would Urban Meyer want to do that to himself? I could see Urban Meyer coaching the Browns before I see him coaching the Redskins.
I didn't say. Well, he's not going to coach the Redskins. Ron Rivera is going to coach the Redskins.
Right. I could see him coaching the Browns. Urban Meyer.
Could you see him coaching the Panthers or the Jaguars?
No. I could see him coaching the Browns.
Why the Browns?
Because of his roots in Ohio.
What are his roots in Ohio besides Ohio State?
Well, his wife is from Ohio. You know, they live there. I think he might want to. That if he's going to come back, listen, he's a guy that could coach basically anywhere he wants, whether it's college or pro. If he's going to go pro and he wants to go to a program that's got some players on the team, that might be his best bet. I just don't see him having the patience to deal with Jerry Jones, and the Giants have no talent right now. I just can't see him going there. The Redskins are already pretty much committed to
I look
Rivera.
at Carolina and Jacksonville as the most likely landing spots for Urban Meyer because they have young, aggressive owners. The Panthers owner's brand new, wants to make a splash. I think Urban Meyer could win with Cam if Cam were to stay healthy.
But would he want to go there?
And Shad Khan he really wants to win.
Yeah, but Jacksonville, I mean, I don't know about Jacksonville. I don't know how much anybody really wants to coach Jacksonville, to be honest with you. I mean, the thing with Cleveland is
I can't believe the Redskins found a coach this fast.
Well, they decided to go with Rivera. They want their defense to be real good. I suppose Rivera is going to go out and get himself a good offensive coordinator. Maybe he'll get Shermer. That would probably be a good fit because Shermer is good with quarterbacks. I mean, I thought he did. Shermer, as much as I couldn't stand him as a coach, I think he did pretty well with Daniel Jones. I really do. I think Daniel Jones is going to be a franchise quarterback.
I mean,
get him some
Shermer.
weapons.
So
I think Shermer is an offensive coordinator. I think there are certain guys that are meant to be coordinators.
I get that,
and
but what's your main beef? What was your main beef? Well, I mean, he's already gone, but what was your main beef with Pat Shurmur as a Giants fan?
the defense.
So he basically ignored one half of the ball and just focused on the offense.
Yep. And I didn't really like his play calling all that much either. He shouldn't have been calling the plays. And he
I don't
ignored
like
the
when head
defense.
coaches call plays.
Yeah, and the defense and the
I think
defense
there's too
was
much going on.
atrocious.
I think that should be delegated, and I think if
You
the
should
head
be
coach-
overseeing the whole operation. That's what you should be doing. You should be listening to the play caller, the plays that he's calling, and if you want to change it, you have the right to change it because you're the head coach. But let the play caller call the plays, and let the defensive coordinator do the job. But you also have to have a say in it. You're overseeing the whole operation. If one part of the operation is horrible, it's on you. And the Giants' defense the last 2 years has really not improved. It was awful last year, and it was awful this year. These guys,
might have even been worse this year.
they just looked like they had no idea what to do out there.
Didn't DeAndre Baker say that?
Yeah, he didn't understand half
Said
the plays.
He doesn't know. He
He didn't understand the plays. Yeah, I mean, and you know what? That's a problem. You know what? And that's
pretty bad because
that's a
clearly this
communication
guy
problem.
can understand complex defenses.
Yeah.
He played at Georgia, SEC.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure he was a 4 or 5 star
and I'm not
recruit coming out of
going to
college
completely I'm
or
not going
high
to
school.
I'm not going to completely blame it on James Betcher. Okay? Cuz Shermer's the head coach. Okay? He wasn't paying any attention to that defense.
James Betcher, the Giants defensive coordinator.
Yes, James Betcher, the defensive coordinator. He's got to go too. We'll see.
Well,
who
I
they,
mean, if Shermer's gone, I mean, isn't the whole staff gone?
sometimes they don't do that.
But how you gonna bring in Mike McCarthy?
Well, let me tell you
How you gonna
something.
say, Mike McCarthy? We want you to be our coach, but you
The
got to
Jets
take
did
all
it-
these
the
guys.
The Jets did it with Adam Gase and Greg Williams.
I think that's full. I know, and Matt Rule. If the internet is true and rumors are correct, the only reason Matt Rule isn't the Giants head coach right now over Shermer is because Giants wouldn't let Rule pick his staff.
Well, that's a problem. Because that's
But if you're
John
gonna give-
Mara and Dave Gettleman
If you're going to
being
give,
idiots.
but like you said, they're not the only team that does that. If you're going to give a guy $5 to $7 million to coach your football team over the next 5 years, you're gonna try to force him to take this defensive coordinator, that special teams guy,
Well,
this
that's-
offensive line
that's-
coach.
They do it.
You're gonna let him pick.
They
You're gonna
do
let
it-
him pick their staff.
A lot of these teams do that, though. Believe it or not, that's what a lot of them do. You know,
I don't understand that.
no, I don't either.
If you don't trust the guy to pick his staff, then you shouldn't be giving him $50 million over 5 years to coach your football team.
I agree. When it comes to Rule, I mean, Rule, I as I said, I'm not.
He has
Not for
experience in the NFL, though.
What has he done in the NFL?
He's been a position coach.
And I believe most recently he was the Giants.
And they had Knicks.
Yeah, they had
and
Eli, they had Mario
Manningham.
Manningham,
They had some real weapons on that team.
and they had the NASCAR package.
Oh, well, the defensive ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's why they won. Well, because of their defense.
Well, their defense helped. Yeah, their defense was good. They scored a lot of points too.
couple comments here. Bob Brigham, Cleveland needs someone that can handle those personalities. I agree.
Yeah, McCarthy.
McCarthy, Urban Meyer,
Yeah, those are
like
the two.
you said.
Urban Meyer, I think, would be perfect for Cleveland. 'Cause, he wants to be. I think he wants to be in Ohio. I think that would be the perfect match for him.
And he has nothing left to accomplish in college.
No, if he wanted to be in college, he'd still be there. I think he just. I also think something was up with his health. That may have been the reason why he left, but I mean I don't know that for fact. So
Bob Brinkman, Giants have the best situation. Matt Rule will take that job.
Oh.
Neil Escariel did Brad E. Crow for his meager Eagles-Giants prediction.
my meager Eagle. What prediction did I make with
I
the
don't
Eagles?
know.
I didn't predict the Giants were going to win. I said I hope the Giants stick it up their asses, but I didn't say I think the
You
Giants.
did.
Are
I
gonna
saw
win.
that post.
I never said the Giants were going to win. I don't think I've said the Giants were going to win against anybody this year. They've been that bad. To be honest with you, at the beginning of the season when the Cardinals beat the hell out of them, that's when I knew it's not going to happen this year for that team.
Urban in Cleveland would be crazy. Urban in Dallas would be crazy too.
I don't know if he could handle Jerry Jones though. Jerry Jones is a different animal.
Isn't Jerry gonna have to bite the bullet and give someone control? Because clearly he doesn't know what it takes anymore to.
I mean, he's such a meddler. That's the problem with him. That's why he let Jason Garrett coach there so long, because he was a puppet. He just did whatever he was told.
And if it's true, the rumors are true, they're going to fire their whole staff. I mean, a lot of work to do. I mean, I think that's an optimistic.
I'll tell you what, if Rod Marinelli becomes available as a defensive coordinator, that would be
nab him up in New York.
I would grab him in a second. I think he's a good defensive coach.
Yeah. Look, the Cowboys had a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense and finished 8-8 with no playoffs.
Because they didn't know how to win.
Crazy.
They also ran it up big time against the bad teams, and they couldn't score against the good teams.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened. I mean, against the Patriots, they scored 9 points. I think they scored 9 against the Eagles. Against the Packers, I mean, they scored 3 points until it was 31-3, and then they finally woke up and started. But at that point, Green Bay had clearly taken their foot off the accelerator. You do understand my point, though. I mean, Minnesota absolutely beat the hell out of them, too. I mean, Minnesota beat the hell out of them in Dallas.
All right, Greg chimes in. Greg Milokovic, he chimes in on the Urban Meyer front. I just don't know if Cleveland has the prestige enough to lure Urban. I think it's got to be a top-flight organization with some prestige. Dallas, New York Giants. He's better off going back to college instead of the Browns.
Yeah, but he's from there, though. That's the whole
I
point.
agree with the prestige of the Browns. The Browns aren't prestigious at all, and they're always a mess. But a strong leader like Urban could be just what the doctor ordered for that organization. And I think he's got stars in his eyes. I really do, meaning the stars of the Dallas Cowboys. I think if he coaches, it's going to be for the Cowboys.
I think Lincoln Riley's going to end up being the coach of the Cowboys, to be honest.
I think that's a premature hire. I don't necessarily be a bad hire. I think that's a premature hire. I think he's got to cut his teeth more in college.
It depends what Jerry is looking for. I mean, I know he likes him.
Yes. But, I like a lot of people too. Doesn't mean I'm going to give him $50 million to coach my football team.
Agreed. What about the LSU coach?
Coach O? Oh, he's a college coach.
You think? You don't think?
Yeah.
He's
The
considered
Tasmanian devil himself.
Coach O?
Oh yeah. Every time I hear him talk, it's like listening to Tasmanian
He
devil.
He does have a.
It's like go Tigers. Like that's everything about Coach O. Great coach,
The guy's
but
great.
he's great, but I just can't
Yeah,
like.
but this is the first time I can remember LSU having an offense.
Oh, yeah.
Like, an offense an offense like this is unbelievable. They have an unbelievable offense, but I mean, usually they've been a team that couldn't score, but were a great defensive team.
Oh yeah, and especially I know we're backtracking with LSU and all that, but they definitely surprised me on Saturday with
by smoking Oklahoma?
by smoking.
I wasn't surprised.
By
they
smoking
smoked
Oklahoma.
I wasn't surprised at all by that.
Yeah,
I had a feeling Oklahoma was going to have a hard time stopping them.
right. Well,
I didn't think they were going to give up 63
that
points.
was the thing here. Like I thought it would be like closer by like 2 scores, but a 40 spot. Oh my! But like putting up 60 and winning by almost 40 points is unbelievable.
42, I thought maybe 41-24, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
41
that's
to
what I was
28, something like that. But 63, 63. I mean, that's
Yeah.
What did Joe Burrow pass for? 6 touchdown
Oh, yeah.
passes in the first half.
Oh,
and
yeah.
400 yards. That guy is he's going to be a good pro too.
Look, Joe Burrow's a stud.
He's gonna he's gonna be.
The only trade I would consider if I were the Bengals for that pick would be if the Dolphins ponied up all 3 of their number 1 picks to move up. So you get what? The 5th pick, the 15th pick, and the 20-something pick for the first pick. And then the Dolphins get their.
The only problem with the Bengals is how much do the Bengals love this
I don't think
quarterback?
Andy Dalton's god awful. Like, I think they can trade him for something or even keep him as a stopgap.
He's not good though.
I agree with that.
He's just not good. The only thing that's not really
Look,
fair
when
is,
they
I mean,
had
these guys,
good, when
when
they
AJ
had good
Green was
weapons,
hurt,
when they had good weapons
He
and
was
a
good.
decent defense, they made the playoffs a lot of years in a row. They never did anything because they didn't know how to win, and they were overmatched. But I mean,
yeah, and that wasn't his fault.
I think us here sitting on the couch here criticizing sports, I think we forget how hard it is to get yourself into the dance sometimes. And Andy Dalton's gotten to the playoffs a number of times.
But if you're a Bengal fan, do you really want to? I mean, you just finished 2-14. Don't you want to start over and get yourself a quarterback? I mean, it's a quarterback-driven league. I mean,
I got you.
I think
Joe Burrow's the guy.
yeah.
I would
think
take-
he's- I think
I would take Joe Burrow but I'm just saying, if Miami's calling me and said, hey, I got 3 ones here, I want Joe Burrow, I'm listening, thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it too. But I mean,
Boy,
I mean,
what says Frank? The wheels are burning over there, Mr. Jeopardy.
3 first round picks.
3
is a
first
lot.
round picks
and one of them's the 5th.
and Joe Burrow. Huh.
Just that, though. Just the 3 ones this
Jeez.
year. You know,
Oh, man.
no 2s and 3s added next year. No player pot sweetener.
Wow.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Nonsense.
That's a lot.
That's actually a very good deal right there.
Yeah, it is. That would be a good. I mean, because you could.
But
really
the possibility of
could
the
build your
hometown,
team.
but the hometown kid from Athens to play for the Bengals.
Yeah, but you're not talking about
From Tigers to Bengals would be something there.
But Frank, the other thing is, I mean, if you're making that trade and he becomes an elite quarterback,
Yeah.
you're gonna be kicking yourself for
Right.
That's
a million
also why you
years.
can't do it.
It's
Y-
so
I
that's
couldn't-
probably
I couldn't do it.
that's a very good deal.
But what do you get
if
for
I'm-
Dalton? What do you get for Dalton?
I
Where do
mean,
you push
a
Dalton
third.
to?
Right.
a
I mean,
third
he's
or a
he's
fourth?
probably going to be like
He'll be a
a
backup.
mid, maybe late rounds in return.
Where's he go?
New England is a backup.
New England, they're going to give up a 3rd-round pick for Andy Dalton?
Maybe a 4th.
Well, he's either going to be a backup or a stopgap quarterback, and especially next year.
What
Everybody,
about Denver?
I like Drew Lock.
a lot
I
of
think
people.
he's good.
I think Denver's going to be set on Drew Lock from.
You got to
yeah,
let him play.
okay.
You got to let him play.
Let him
Let him
at some
play
point.
and see how he does
Yeah,
next
but they
year.
have such a good defense. I mean,
Right.
it's just, you're
Yeah,
wasting.
but
a
you
def-
got to get some
you're wasting-
continuity
Yeah.
at some point. You
But
can't
you're
just
wasting
change
that
guys
defense.
every year.
Yeah, you can't be like the Cardinals where it's like, oh, Josh Rosen. All right, here we go. It's Kyler Murray time. But, man, you know, I'm gonna stick to my guns, and I'm gonna
Like,
say
who's better, Jacoby Brissett or Andy Dalton?
I
Is
think-
Andy Dalton an upgrade over
yeah, I think so.
Brissett?
You put Andy Dalton with those with those weapons. Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
first
so.
thing that came to my mind was the Colts.
the Colts. Yeah, that's a good selection. And Greg in the comments says Red Rocket to Oakland.
Andy Dalton better than
the
Derek
soon,
Carr?
Or soon to be Las Vegas.
I thought it was the
Raiders.
Red Rifle.
It's like the Red Rifle.
Red Rocket,
Red
Rocket.
Rock.
It's all
I thought
the
it
same.
was the Red Rifle.
The original Ginger Jesus, but
Um,
he's no more. That is now Carson.
Do you think Andy Dalton? So Greg thinks Andy Dalton's better than Derek Carr.
I don't agree with that, but I think he's definitely better than Brissett, though.
Yeah, he's better than Brissett, but not better than Carr.
I mean, is Andy Dalton an upgrade over Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, I mean he is
yeah.
he is a
well,
little
The
he is
problem
younger.
with Ryan
yeah.
Fitzpatrick is that Ryan Fitzpatrick looks like Dan Marino one week, and then he looks like Ken O'Brien the next week.
Oh yeah, exactly. He's
And then what's
Yeah.
Tampa doing with Jameis?
all right.
He missed a 30-30.
30-30, man.
5,000 30-30 for
5,000 yards, 30
30,
touchdowns.
30.
Then he threw 30 picks. The 30th pick, a pick six in overtime
Yeah,
Yeah, to lose the game.
to lose,
to
the,
lose
game.
the game.
To your arch rivals, no less. Oy.
It's a shame because
Yeah.
when he's on, man, he can really spin
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he is. I mean, he's a gunslinger.
He doesn't care at
Right.
all. He just throws it.
He just throws it, and like he does have the reliable weapons. He has Mike Evans, and he also have
You know,
Chris
I mean,
Godwin
he's
and
the clo-
OJ
I mean, he-
Howard.
he
Greg
really-
says he's better than Derek Carr, but they have to pay Carr again soon. So if he's isn't the future, why extend him? It's a good point. So could the Raiders be in the market for a quarterback in the draft with one of their 2 first-round selections? Look, I don't see it. I see
No.
Burrow and
No.
Herbert being like a early second-round guy
Yeah.
is like maybe a project guy like
Yeah.
Drew Lock was last
in,
year.
in the right system, I think Herbert could.
I
succeed.
wouldn't
I think Herbert's going to be good.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't really like to
Yeah,
I
not.
see Jacob Eason on mock drafts at the end of the first round from Washington.
That's a reach.
I don't really see
No.
that at all.
Dexter Lawrence isn't not
Yeah.
Dexter. The
Trevor
Lawrence
Lawrence-
kid.
Trevor-
Lawrence on.
Everybody's going to tank for Trevor going into next year. I think that's probably what we're going to see. I know Burrow. He's going to be the unanimous number one, regardless if he goes to Miami or Cincinnati.
I don't
but,
know. This Burrow guy is
Yeah,
he's just as good as Trevor Lawrence in my
Right.
opinion.
yeah,
They both can move. They both
yeah.
really sling it.
The guy in Ohio State was
What
pretty
about a
dang
Carr?
Carr
Justin
too.
Fields, yeah.
What about a Carr Winston swap? That's from Greg.
That would be a.
Put Carr with Arians and Winston with Gruden.
Gruden might kill him.
He might be right.
Yeah.
I think
I
you're
don't
right
know if
there.
Gruden. I don't think
Gruden would strangle him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Gruden would go.
At least Derek Carr.
Chucky will go crazy on that one, yeah.
Gruden's head.
I
would
mean, I don't know
explode.
how good Derek Carr is, but at least Derek Carr is not a complete knucklehead
Yeah.
like Jameis Winston.
Right.
I think Arians would do a good job with Carr. As
Arians did a
Winston-
good job with Winston.
He did. It's just Winston. Winston just
He can't help. He
There's
can't
no
help
window.
but he throws it.
He
There's
throws it,
no
yeah.
window.
There's
he
no
thinks he
way.
can't-
Like now
he
we get
can't
on
go.
Carson sometimes about
Right.
he forces stuff and
He
you know
does
he
it
doesn't take what the
constantly.
defense gives him. Jameis Winston.
He's never
doesn't
seen
take
a
what the
window.
defense-
He's never seen
Yeah.
a window. He doesn't think he can
Right.
He
throw
just
the ball
chucks it.
through.
He just chucks it.
Doesn't
chucks it in
matter.
hopes that Mike Evans catches it or Chris Godwin
If
catches
somebody's covered, he'll just
Somebody's
going
gonna
to
get it.
He'll throw the ball as hard as he can
Yeah.
and hope for the best.
Bob Brinkman. This is actually interesting with Bob Brinkman. Dalton to the Chargers. Rivers goes to Carolina as a 2-year transition guy. I love Phillip Rivers, but I think you hit it. I think
Rivers is done.
I think you hit it on the head in
Yeah,
your
he's
comparison. to
he's
Eli
either
Manning. I mean,
done
they're
or-
older
or
guys. I
won't.
mean,
Yeah,
they
they're
were
older,
the
yeah.
same
He's
draft.
30. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's 30. He's 37 this year as well. I mean, he
Yeah.
went down a lot this year. I heard he just
Yeah.
wasn't that good anymore.
I mean, 5-11 is 5-11.
Right,
I mean, that's
and
not a good
especially
record
a
at
lot
all.
of a lot of
And
people.
they have a lot of talent on their team.
Yeah, and a lot of
Yes.
people were banking on the Chargers to be a Super Bowl team, but going
He's
from
too
Super
old.
Bowl like contender to 5-11.
He was too inconsistent this season.
and also you got to
Yeah, but
throw in
that's
the
what
factor
happens when
that
you're-
you
that's
al-
what happens when you're 37.
and
though.
you also had the Melvin Gordon holdout, which didn't help their case, and then you had the injuries on the defense.
Every team gets injured. I don't want to hear it.
But like the Chargers, man, it's like every single year. It's like, oh, we're gonna make some great run, and
Yeah,
then
and then
they
they
miss the
had that-
playoffs. Yeah,
They had that.
It's always
Well, they had the
something
black,
with the Chargers.
black Melvin Gordon cloud over their head.
yeah,
from
the
training
holdout.
camp.
Yeah,
But it's always something with the Chargers.
it's always something with them.
yeah. There's always
Bob
something.
Brinkman, he thinks Rivers has something left, but he's done in Los Angeles.
I think he has one more year. left in the tank.
Greg chimes back in. Lawrence just has a little more polish and pedigree, but it's not by
Yeah.
much.
I agree with that.
Well, Greg, let me tell you this, because Joe Burrow, he bounced around college football. He had the job at Ohio State. He broke his wrist, so Haskins got the job.
Yeah.
He was
Oh.
where was he before that?
Oh, I.
Bring up his
Yeah,
track
I'll
record.
get
Bring
it.
up his
Yeah.
track record, please. But he always kind of he kind of just missed everywhere, and then he
He was at Ohio State. Yeah, he spent 2 years backed up to J.T. Barrett. Then Haskins
who was
would-
awesome.
and
then he
then
was about to get the job, and he broke his wrist.
And then Haskins was going to be the named starting quarterback, and then he transferred to LSU.
And then
J.T.
he,
Barrett's on New Orleans, right?
Barrett is
Isn't
with
he
the
their third-
Steelers.
Oh, he's with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Steelers. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Um,
they didn't give him a chance with the crap that's on their team right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was a
Duck
practice-
Hodges.
Well, he went undrafted. That kind of didn't help Barrett's case.
I thought Barrett was really good in college.
Yeah.
I guess they know better than I do, but jeez.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, he breaks his wrist, then he transfers. He has that. You remember the bowl game he had against UCF last bowl season? He had that comeback, put himself on the map, and then just took off. Like, if Joe Burrow got a chance to start at Ohio State over Dwayne Haskins, was a 2-year starter at Ohio State, and had success,
Who knows what would have happened?
I mean, you're talking about him with Lawrence, I think. I mean, look at his talent. He was Mr. Basketball in Ohio. He's a two-sport athlete.
Hey, boy, can Burrow run. Man, I mean, he's fast. He's Lamar Jackson, but he can actually he's a better passer than Lamar Jackson.
Well, I mean, he's not Lamar Jackson. Really.
He can
He's-
run. He can
he
run
can
like
run.
Lamar Jackson.
He can run and he can create.
Yeah, he's going to be a good one.
Do you have the selection for that game? I think Clemson's going to win.
Nah, I like LSU.
You like LSU?
Yeah, I like LSU.
I'm going to go with the Tigers to win.
Good one.
If 129 in a row.
You want to make a real pick and not be a wise guy?
I'm gonna go with a GAUX with the Tigers. LSU.
You're off to Aruba, no? Or
Yes.
wherever?
I'm going to Aruba on Friday.
Nice. Be in the division rounds?
Oh, I'll be there before any football's played.
But you'll be on vacation for the games.
Yes, but they have a bar right at the beach with the TV that has the football
Maybe you'll
games
see
on.
my parents.
Are they in Aruba now?
They're going on a cruise, and I think that's one of the stops.
Oh, okay. Okay, because we're at the Marriott. The vacation club. What's the name of it? The
Greg,
surf club.
I
Surf
don't
club.
disagree, but Lawrence has started from day one. Yeah, my only point is, Greg, if Burrow had the same opportunity that Lawrence had, I think that the pedigree thing you threw out there would be less of a factor. But 2019, end of a year, end of a decade, New Year's Eve's tomorrow, New Year's Eve Wednesday. Any reactions from the year in sports? Nationals won the World Series. Virginia won the college basketball. Patriots won the World Series again. Hockey was the Blues.
I think out of all of them, the Blues may have been the biggest story because nobody saw that coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got the High
Blue-
Chief.
The Blues were in last place in the middle of January,
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
and they came
How
back.
about the
and won.
Nationals, though? They were
The
what?
Nationals were
They were
yeah,
down
they
there
were,
as well.
They were 18-29.
I thought the way the Nationals won their championship was just something special.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would agree with you about that.
They hit the grand slam against the Dodgers. They beat the Cardinals, and then they win Game 7.
Did the Cardinals score a run in that series?
Not many.
I think
Not many.
They scored one
It
or two
was
runs that whole series.
And a Milwaukee Brewers error that caused that entire run.
Yes.
Yeah,
What's that?
the error.
Oh, the Brewers.
The
And
Brewers.
The Brewers.
that-
That's
that
right. That
series-
wild card game.
that wild card game.
Hader gave it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started with the error.
The error that started it all and causing a lot of ire in Philadelphia.
But I don't know. The way Martinez managed that team and the
Yeah.
way he used Corbin as a starter and a reliever throughout the playoffs,
Oh, I think he did a great job.
he did awesome. And
Yeah,
they
he
lose
did a great
Harper,
job.
who's a really good player, and
And
their
still
player development has guys ready to step right in.
Well, they got a guy like Soto, and they got Robles right on the edge, right there.
And Rendon
And
was a
Rendon,
farmhand
they-
for them as
yeah, they
well.
lost-
Trey Turner's a farmhand
They
for
lost. Well, they lose Rendon, and they lose they lose Rendon this year. Last year they lost
them. Harper.
Harper. I mean, they did resign, but they did resign Strasburg.
I saw an MLB network. They did. They'll be all right.
Oh, they'll be
They
fine.
need a third baseman. They need to do something at
They
first
may
base.
they may end up getting Donaldson.
They could.
Yeah, I mean,
Team of the decade in the MLB.
team of the decade, boy. You know, I would want to say the Giants. What did they win, 3?
They won 3.
Yeah, I want
That's
to say
it.
them, but they've been so bad the last
Right.
couple of years. That's
Yankees won the most games. Dodgers won the most postseason games. Neither of them won a World Series.
Oh man, that's a good one.
that's a tough one.
I saw the debate on, but I mean, would the Astros win 1?
Yeah.
Nationals won 1,
Yeah, the Red Sox won 2. They also finished in last place 1 year, and then they were awful this past year.
I mean, that's the Giants are terrible.
The Giants now are terrible, but they won 2.
You won 3.
They
They
won
won
3.
3 in 5 years.
And I got to give it to them. I think I got to give it to the Giants. I mean, 3 championships in 5 years, that's pretty good.
Team of the decade. Team of the decade in hockey.
Oh, in hockey. Jeez. 'Cause we had different teams almost every year. I guess I guess you'd have to say it was the Penguins. I mean,
Yeah, the back-to-back and
yeah,
Gotta
I
be the
mean,
Penguins,
It's
right?
got to be the Penguins.
Penguins. Yeah,
'Cause they were
NFL.
always a dominant team. Well, it's the
NFL,
the
obviously
Patriots.
Patriots.
The
It's not even
Patriots. It
fun.
has to
hate
be.
to say that, but
Basketball.
Basketball.
Warriors.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
the Warriors. Yeah,
Warriors for sure.
yeah.
I'm just trying to think of the early part of the decade if we're.
Like the early part of the
But
decade,
the
you
Warriors,
had the Miami
Warriors
teams.
changed.
Yeah.
The Warriors changed basketball.
Oh yeah.
They did.
They changed
They did.
basketball, and then if you go into the earlier part of the decade, you could throw in the Miami Heat with LeBron and Wade and Bosh as their runs to the finals.
Yeah, but
every
the
year.
Warriors they
But-
changed the way NBA teams are built
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they
absolutely.
only
with
won.
the way
but
they
only
shoot
won,
Yeah.
They only
and-
won
and
2
run.
though.
They only won 2.
The Heat
yeah.
only won. The Heat only won 2, and the Warriors won 4.
Yeah.
So, and then the Spurs won 1.
Yes.
The Spurs won 1, and the Mavericks won 1.
Yeah.
So it's got to be the Warriors.
It's got to be the Warriors.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, I mean, hockey, it's definitely the Penguins. You could give an honorable mention to the Blackhawks.
Any thoughts? Any thoughts to going into 2020, Brad?
About
Sports, life, philosophy.
well, I'll tell
Anything?
you what. I think my Rangers, 23-24, will be the Stanley Cup year.
It's 2023, 2024.
Yes.
They're gonna make a push,
No, they win the cup that year.
win the cup.
That's the year they win the cup. I think not this season. I think next season they make the push. They begin their ascension into the playoffs.
We could have a nice
Following
little,
year- the
nice little
following year,
bloodbath brewing here
we
in
could,
this
because
decade coming up.
Your
with- between-
team is nice and young, and you're set up. We got some young players in our lineup now, and we've got a bunch of really good young defensemen on the way.
They're very similar teams.
Yeah, I mean the Rangers have an excellent young goalie
You
and
have Zibanejad and Panarin.
and don't forget Trouba, and Adam Fox has been real good. They're probably gonna. Unfortunately, they're probably gonna trade.
I
Chris
can't
Kreider.
talk hockey with you. You,
Well,
you
they-
run
they-
circles around me. but
Chris Kreider.
I know
lo-
the Flyers.
I love
but
Chris Kreider, but they're probably going to trade him, and that's
Whoa.
a shame. But
Oh,
that's a shame.
jeez.
But the
Look at that. Santa Claus is here.
I think when the Capitals, I think the Capitals have another year or two of this run, and then they're going to be kaput. And I think the Penguins are going to be kaput pretty soon. I think it's going to be the Rangers and Flyers.
They're going to need a goalie.
They've got two. Good. They
got two?
Well,
See, I can't talk hockey.
Georgiev.
I can't talk hockey.
Georgiev has played less games than Lundqvist and has won more games than Lundqvist. And they have this kid Shesterkin, who was the best goalie in the KHL and is leading the AHL this year in goals against average. And every goalie statistic you could have, he leads the league right now in the AHL. So they're set. They're going to be set with their goaltending. They're set with their defensemen. They need to get a real good young forward to go with what they've got now. And unfortunately, they're probably going to trade Kreider, which really sucks. And I'm just hoping they don't end up trading him to a team like you or the Bruins or the Capitals. That would kill me to see one of them.
Why would they trade with the Flyers?
Well, if they give up a first-round draft pick, they might. Flyers
so
could use
stupid.
Flyers could use another wing, a physical wing.
It's like Frank. Remember that one year that when the Eagles drafted Cobb, they traded with Dallas at the draft.
Oh my goodness!
What the fuck are you doing? Like, come on.
I was never a fan of that trade.
Like, why would you trade with division rival?
Yeah,
I would never do it.
and especially
they do it all the time.
And I was so suspicious when the Eagles drafted Cobb, where
in hockey they do it a lot. Trading in your
not
conference.
a fan of the Cobb pick.
Trading
conference
He wasn't going to be
different.
anything special.
No, it's not because you have to play them in the playoffs. So you also.
I'm talking about like Eagles trading with Cowboys, Rangers trading with Devils, like Flyers trading with Penguins, like arch
It happens.
division rivals.
It happens.
When? Where?
The Rangers traded with Boston. They've been trading with Boston every year.
They're not in the same division.
Yeah, but they still play them 3 times a year. It's not like they're playing. They're trading with the West. It's the top 8 teams in the conference that make the playoffs. You have to understand that.
Is that how it works, Brad?
Yeah, it's the top 8 teams in the conference that make the playoffs. The first 3 in each division, and then you have 2 wild cards. The teams in the Eastern
I knew how. I was
Conference-
being a smart. You didn't have to explain it to me. I know how it works.
The teams in the Eastern Conference. We play the Tampa Bay Lightning 3 times. You guys play Tampa Bay Lightning 3 times. We play you 4 times.
Yeah, but
it's only one. It's only one difference.
It's just the principle of it that I don't like.
Well, listen. If it's going to improve your team, you do it. Especially in hockey. Because hockey, every year is different in hockey. You never really know because you never know if the goalie is good. Because goalies are up and down in hockey. Defensemen are always up and down in hockey too. And you never know what the forward is. If a forward's going to have the same kind of year.
It's true.
It's a strange sport. It's a very real up and down sport, especially with the goalies. You can have goalies have a phenomenal year one year and then they're mediocre the next year, and they never really get it going. Only the best ones are great every year.
It's true. All right, Brad. Well, it's been another year. It's been another pleasure.
Yes.
2019 coming to a close. Sports Hounds will be back in 2020. Have a happy, safe New Year. Hope everyone had a great holiday season. I know we were off last week. Yeah, NFL playoffs. Got a lot of things to look forward to early here in 2020. A2D Radio be here with you each and every step of the way. Until next Monday. I'll be here next Monday. Brad won't be. Until then, peace.